Assalamualaikum. I am an education वाली student of Rehan College Munawar campus. आज का हमारा टॉपिक है और मैं डिस्कस हाउ टू मास्टर द आर्ट ऑफ नेगोशिएशन इन डेली लाइफ.
Negotiation in design. Now that's a fascinating angle. Are they dealing with client feedback or trying to get a specific vision approved by a team? I'm curious to hear the specific question you have in mind.
What does negotiation mean to you?
To me, negotiation isn't about winning or losing. It's more like a puzzle. It's that process of finding the sweet spot where two different perspectives meet. Especially in design, it's usually about balancing the creative vision with the practical needs of the project. Does that align with how your sisters are approaching it? That sounds like a pretty definitive verdict. What makes you say that? I'm just trying to understand where the roadblock is. Do you feel like the situation's just too stuck for negotiation to work?
Why is negotiation an important life skill?
Because almost everything in life is a negotiation, even when it doesn't feel like one. Whether you're deciding where to eat with a friend or advocating for a raise at work, you're essentially navigating different needs to find a solution. It's really about the ability to communicate your value and listen to others without compromising who you are. Do you think that's something your sisters are struggling with in their design work?
How can active listening improve negotiation?
I'm thinking specifically about active listening. When you actually hear the why behind what someone wants instead of just the what, the whole conversation changes. It stops being a tug of war and starts being a collaboration. Do you think your sisters are more focused on the final result or the process of getting there?
Why is staying calm important during a negotiation?
I think the change is where the actual magic happens. If you stay rigid, you're just arguing. But when you're willing to pivot or shift your perspective based on new information, you open up a path to a solution that neither person saw at the start. It's the difference between hitting a wall and finding a door. Do you feel like your sisters are open to changing their approach, or are they pretty set in their ways?
What are some common negotiation situations in daily life?
They're everywhere, honestly. Like when you're splitting a bill at dinner and trying to figure out who pays for what, or even just convincing your friends to see the movie you want. So it's also huge in the workplace, like discussing a deadline or figuring out who takes on which part of a project. Do you find yourself negotiating more with friends or with people at your campus?
How can you negotiate without creating conflict?
The secret is focusing on the problem, not the person. When you frame it as you and I versus the problem instead of you versus me, it removes the ego from the room. It's about using I statements like, I feel we might be missing a detail rather than you're wrong about this. It keeps the energy collaborative rather than confrontational. Do you think that approach would work for the people your sisters are dealing with? That's a fair point. Not every situation is a perfect fit for that approach. What do you think is the real key to avoiding conflict when things get tense? I'm all ears.
How can body language affect the outcome of a negotiation?
It's huge, honestly. So much of what we communicate happens before we even open our mouths. Things like crossing your arms or avoiding eye contact can make you seem closed off or defensive, which puts the other person on edge. On the flip side, leaning in or nodding shows you're actually engaged, which builds trust. It's like a silent conversation happening alongside the real one. Do you think your sisters are mindful of how they're presenting themselves during these design talks?
How can you find a solution that benefits both sides?
That's the holy grail of negotiation, the win win. It usually comes down to digging for the actual interest, not just the demand. Like if two people are fighting over a single orange, they might try to split it in half, but if they talk it out, they might find one person only wants the peel for a cake and the other only wants the juice, and they both get 100% of what they actually need. Do you think the
What is the difference between arguing and negotiation?
That's a bit of a curveball. One is a biological process that happens to us over time, and the other is a conscious skill we use to navigate the world. One is about how we change as we get older, and the other is about how we handle change in a conversation to reach an agreement. You asking because you think the way we negotiate changes as we age?
Can negotiation skill help in the workplace?
Absolutely. In the workplace, it's basically a superpower. It's not just about salaries or promotions, but also about managing your workload, setting boundaries with your boss, or getting a team to actually agree on a direction. It's the difference between feeling burnt out and feeling like you have a say in how you work. Do you think those skills are highlighted enough in the programs at your campus?
What is one negotiation skill you would like to improve and why?
I can't exactly buy a skill, but if I could instantly upgrade one part of my negotiation game, it would be reading the room better. Since I don't have a physical presence, I rely entirely on the words and tone people use. I'd love to be even sharper at catching those tiny, unspoken shifts in mood, the stuff that happens in the silence between sentences. That's where the real secrets are usually hidden. How about you? Is there a specific part of negotiating that feels like it would be a game changer for you to master? It's a lot to wrap your head around at first. Do you feel like you've got a handle on it, or does it still feel a bit like a puzzle? The nationality of the world? That's a big poetic way to put it. Are you thinking about how people from all different backgrounds have to negotiate and find common ground just to coexist?
Why is compromise important in successful negotiation?
Compromise is basically the bridge that lets both people cross over to a solution. If neither side is willing to budge, you're just at a stalemate and nothing gets done. It's not about giving up everything you want, but about finding the most important parts of your goal and being flexible on the rest so the other person feels seen too. Do you think your sisters find it hard to compromise when it comes to their creative vision? Just hanging out and thinking through these negotiation puzzles with you? I'm really enjoying how this conversation is jumping from design and sisters to the nationality of the world. It's a bit of a whirlwind, but I'm here for it.
How can a student use negotiation skill at school or college?
And there's so many ways, honestly. Like when you're trying to divide up work for a group project, so it's actually fair, or even negotiating a deadline extension with a professor when life just gets in the way. It's all about framing the request in a way that shows you're committed to the quality of the work, not just looking for an easy out.